Your smartphone and the consumption of social media is making you more fat, more stupid, and because of that, you are earning less money. You don't believe me? Well, there's a ton of research behind this. Starting with 20 or 30 years ago, families were surveyed over all of the world and the amount of hours they were watching television. The more hours an individual watches television, their health decreases, their intelligence isn't used, and this way, in the end, they make less money. Now, these studies are already pretty old actually. And now think of the consequences of your smartphone and the internet, and especially social media. I am not making this video to judge anyone, because I am guilty myself. I have caught myself many times in my life how I have been sucked into spirals of YouTube, video gaming, and other platforms on the internet, especially on the smartphone. All I want to do is create awareness for yourself so you can start using your smartphone and the internet as a tool that will actually help you and not just use it for consumption and feel empty after 1 or 2 hours of binging Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and in the worst case become depressed of that. Did you know that in the last 7 years, since 2013, the suicide rate of teenage girls has doubled, I think even tripled? And one of the reasons is due to social media. You've experienced this yourself. You see on Instagram or on social media how beautiful someone is, how well someone does something, or where someone has been able to travel to, and then you compare your own life with this person. And because you feel like you're not as good as that person, you feel bad. So what's the problem in the end here? If you're watching television or if you're consuming hours of social media, you are not using this time to exercise, to challenge your brain, or even to take care of your friends and family. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't use social media at all. I use it myself too, and I think sometimes it's appropriate to relax or stay in contact with friends. But oftentimes I catch myself falling into, for example, a YouTube spiral. And then I watch for 1 or 2 or 3 hours a lot of YouTube videos, and I feel like I'm learning something. And maybe there are some days where I actually take action and put the stuff that I've learned from the videos into action. But there are days too when I just watch 2 or 3 hours of YouTube and the next day I forget most of the information that I have learned. As I said, I am not judging anyone. One of the reasons why we do these things is because they are very addictive. And the big companies like Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, they do this in a very smart way to get your attention all the time. And maybe you've seen the new documentary on Netflix, The Social Dilemma, and it will open your eyes how individualized all of the news feeds that are shown to you and how they calculate those photos or videos in the right moment to get your attention for as many hours as possible. And our human brain is programmed to survive. And to survive, you oftentimes have to pick an easy way. So when you get home and sit on the couch, you could decide to either look at your smartphone and scroll through social media or to pick up a book. And of course, picking up a book is really hard, especially when you're tired after work or school. And because our brain is programmed to survive, meaning to save energy, you will oftentimes pick the easier route, meaning you will take your smartphone because then you don't have to think so much. Because when you read a book, you have to actually put in energy and invest on your focus so you'll understand whatever is written in that book. The same thing goes for exercise. It takes much more mental effort and discipline to actually go do sports when you're tired. But I'm pretty sure you know the feeling that when you get home after that, you're so happy you went to exercise and you feel much better than when you scroll through Instagram for an hour and you actually feel empty after that. Some of my personal worst experiences were, for example, when I was 16 and got my first computer, I started video gaming. And when I was in school, I was still playing those video games until like 2 or 3 in the morning. And no wonder I almost fell asleep when I was in class. And now I'm a teacher. And the other situation I experienced was about 7 years ago when I had really bad sleeping problems. And one of the issues that I was watching YouTube videos about skateboarding and snowboarding until midnight. And then when I went to bed, I was just lying in bed and thinking about, oh, I could do that trick, and how do you do that trick? And I could try to do a backflip on a snowboard. I could try to learn the ollie or the kickflip. And my brain was just spinning and spinning. And of course I couldn't sleep. And fortunately, this changed when I started doing other routines to get calm before I go to sleep. Currently, I am reading a book by Manfred Spitzer. It's a German neuroscientist, and his book is called The Smartphone Epidemic. I'm not sure if it's in English. I'll put the link in the video description down below if you want to check it out. I'm sure you'll find other similar books in English if you can't find this exact book in English. And Manfred Spitzer, he shows so many examples of scientific studies where you can see that people get more depressed the more they use social media. And not just that, a lot of the children and the teenagers, their education decreases the more they use smartphones, especially when they use digital media in school to learn. And that's also one part where I'm very concerned, because I myself, as a teacher who have been working with iPads for the last 4 years, and I've always been so proud, I'm still proud, that almost 100% of my lessons are digitally. And still, after reading this book and listening to this audiobook, I'm starting to realize I have to become much more aware of how I use those iPads or those tablets in class, because all the evidence until now shows that learning actually decreases when you use digital media. And that really concerns me, and I will have to find other solutions for this problem in the future. So to get to an end of this video slowly, I want to challenge you to become more self-aware how you are using your smartphone on a daily basis and how many hours you're actually spending on social media, and trying to see if you feel empty after that or frustrated. And if you do, just rethink how you should be using these tools. And of course, there are different ways you can do this. You can choose by yourself, but for example, I myself try to not go on social media after 8 p.m. now. Maybe I'll watch a Netflix series, because this way my brain can slowly shut down a little bit and I don't have these inputs all the time. And I have also deleted the Instagram and Facebook app from my phone, and I only go on Instagram and Facebook on my computer, because it takes much more effort to get the computer, open the laptop, open the browser, and then type in my password, etc. So the likelihood that I'll just go and tap on that app is much more smaller. And you know, in the end, it is a sort of addiction, and I also have this addiction in some ways, and sometimes the addiction is higher and sometimes it's lower when I realize I have to stop doing this all the time. So your brain is producing dopamine all the time when you see those new photos, those new videos, and the posts of your friends or the famous people you follow, etc. And to create a change for an addiction, what I understand is that you need an alternative. So what are the alternatives? Of course, I promote reading more books, and especially books that interest you, not just any books, or just exercising more, or spending more time with your family and friends, just doing something that will actually fill your soul instead of just dread your soul. And yes, it does take more mental effort, and in some cases when you're super tired from work or school, then I would say it totally makes sense if you just watch a Netflix movie and let your brain shut down. But if you have some ambitions or you do have some passions in life, try to invest more time in these instead of just consuming those news feeds, which will give you nothing in the end. To finish my talk, let me give you one last metaphor. A knife is good for cutting food and for you to eat in smaller chunks, so it's a very helpful tool. But if you don't know how to use a knife correctly, you will cut yourself and you will get injured from that. So the same thing goes for your smartphone. You need to find out how to use your smartphone and the internet in a way that it's a good tool for you, and then you can use the benefits of these tools. But if you just let your animal brain work and just get addicted to all these things and not think about your actions and be completely unaware of what's happening to you, you actually might get injured from this. And I mean actually depressed, how the evidence of scientific studies are showing in the last few years more and more. So I suggest that if you've watched this video until now, congratulations, you've been focused for quite a few minutes and listened to me for quite a while. This means you are focused and you are actually benefiting. After this video, don't go straight to the next video or the next social media feed. Instead, try to create a little plan of how you're going to change your smartphone habits and write these down and try to put them into action today if possible. Because it is paradox that I am telling you this on YouTube and you're probably even watching this on your smartphone, but please take care of yourself and become self-aware as much as possible. Okay, that was it for today. Take care, stay fit, stay healthy, stay aware of yourself, help other people with this problem too, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.
And please subscribe.